G'day, how you going? Welcome to my video. This is Ianapolis here, your acrylic guru, and today we are going to do a beautiful landscape watery lake thing, okay? Right there is the size of the canvas board that I'm using. You use any size you like, okay? And I'm going to show you the reference picture because I put a post on my Facebook page and I have to thank everybody for giving me ideas of what to paint. Someone gave me a site to a free picture site where you can look at other pictures as well, and I found one there from Les Krivak, or Krivek, sorry. Their name was on the photo that was posted, so I'm just going to show you it. So this is the picture here on my monitor there. We've got a distant mountain in the background there, and you can see all the atmosphere in the sky, so we're going to create that. We've got a beautiful land mass over here with some flat land mass, so there's different values and shadows there, and we've got some beautiful reflections in the water. So we'll put that together on our canvas today. I'll just move aside so you can look at the colours that we're going to use in this painting today. So pause it, write them down, and then catch up and paint along with me, alright? Alright, so they're going up there. Don't know how long they're going to take. Anyway, right, so I've told you the size of the canvas. Now I want to grab some retarder. Come down here and I'll show you what we've got on the palette. On the palette I've got my flowing white paint. You can see the difference to that, to the actual titanium white. That's thick, that's not. Now I'm going to prime up my canvas board with the flowing white paint and retarder. Regardless, if my canvas panel has already been pre-gesso primed, I don't care. I'm still doing this so I can achieve the blending style that I use in my paintings, okay? So we'll start from the sky first, and I'm just going to do the sky first, and then we'll come down later and do the bottom half of the painting, alright? So we'll get this primed up with our flowing white paint and retarder, so we've got a beautiful sky there ready to happen. So we've got some cloud in the sky, distant atmosphere pollution, and the colour blue. It might not show up too good on my monitor, but I'm going to paint that anyway. So I'm going down here. I have my French ultramarine blue, and I've got some quinacridone magenta. That'll come in later. So I want to pick up the ultramarine blue, and I want to lighten it a bit. I don't want it that dark cartoony blue. So we're not going to copy the picture exact. We'll get this all onto the sky area for now. So all that white we've put on there, let's just get it all on there, get it to the edges, crisscross it, get it right on there. Then you can brush stroke your marks out of there. Now I want to pick up some of the magenta on the corner of that brush, okay, and go back over here to this colour that we've made. We don't want purple here. We're going to have to add some more blue into that. Too much magenta. Red and the magentas are very strong. So you can see we've got that purple violety colour happening now compared to this. You can see the difference in the three colours we've got now. I don't want it that colour, it's too dark. Now roughly the horizon, I want this in the, I'm going to just stamp it on like that, roughly where my sky bottom is going to be. Just stamp it on and blend this into the top colour there, okay? Nice soft transition of the two. I'm going to blend the sky as well. So I'll blend that sky quickly because it's got some brush strokes in it and I don't want them in there. And then I'm going to bring this mixed magenta and the blue up into there as well. Now I want to get a few subtle clouds into the sky, so I'm picking up the titanium white with my fan brush, and I probably want something just coming off the picture there, giving it its body. and a bit of a tail out there. Okay. Now I'm going to blend from halfway. I've seen some people post some of their pictures up with the clouds. They've done really good clouds, and there's probably just one thing they've left out. They've done their cloud like that, which is good, but see the bottom now? Try and learn whether it's going to need a bottom or blend down into the atmosphere. Okay? Because I'm going to give this cloud some shadow, I'm going to give it a bit of a bottom, and I've softened it down into the sky there like that. Tickle the tops a bit. Okay, we've sat that cloud down beautifully. Okay, I've got some toning grey, and I've just sort of danced it through the polluted colour there. It's still grey. And our cloud, we want to dance this along the bottom, pick up some more, sort of spear it up into the cloud, finding your bottom, spearing it up. Get a little bit more on there. Okay, grab your blending brush and a rag, and we want to soften all that grey into the whites. And it's going to start giving it a two-tone look, and then we'll put the white yumminess back. Create the bottom of the cloud like that. Wipe your brush as you go. This is just a subtle cloud. It's nothing too bright and heavy in the sky. There we go. And then we're going to grab our white again, and then just lightly give the cloud some yumminess. And it gives it from the one dimension, we've added the grey, the 2 dimension. This has given it its 3rd dimension in my eyes. You're leaving some of the brightness there, and you're blending bits of it down. And if you feel it doesn't have enough grey in there, you can always go back and stick some in there, okay, just like that, and blend it down. There's a subtle cloud anyway. Now our reference picture has some glare over here, okay? So we want to make sure we put that in there to make this distant mountain pop. So I'm going to just wash that fan brush that I stamped the cloud on with and pick up the titanium white again. So while I washed it, it's clean, it's got no blue in it. And I can probably, that's old paint I've got there. Look how jammy it is. Just try and get some of this blue glaring down into some white. We want to leave that polluted sky there, so we want to come into there. I'm not copying that exact, we're just getting an idea. Okay, we need some glare distance here in our painting. So we're using the reference. Let's just reference from it. Come there, and maybe a little bit here. Feathering up, see? Now we're going to get the blending brush, and we want to blend that glare. It's not a cloud, we're blending it a bit more forcefully up into the sky. Let it come into that polluted bit there. See what we've done? And we'll get this up into the sky. We still want to leave some blue, but we want to make sure we've got this distant glare to make that mountain pop. Wipe your brush and blend it down. Now, I do feel I might have destroyed too much of the polluted colour, so we'll quickly stamp that back on, just there, and that can meet up to that glare that we put. So we're going to blend that back into the glare, because we want that meeting the glare. We don't want it sort of covered up with the mountain, all that covered up with the mountain. We want to see both of these colours. That's my intentions today, to get that done. Now I've just blow dried the sky, ready to put in that distant mountain over here, okay? But we want to keep the magenta tinted and that white sort of in it, okay? We don't want to kill it. So we're going to put that distant mountain there. So let's mix up the colours for that. So we'll mix up the colour for this distant mountain here, okay? Okay, I'm using some phthalo blue and quinacridone magenta, just to get our colour we want. Now I'd like to use a flat brush for putting this on, because it's like a knife. You've got more control with this and the acrylic paint. So we'll find the top and we'll get the top of it nice and sharp, but you can have little up and downy bits to create the illusion of distant trees in there, because this is a long way away and there's a lot of atmosphere between your eyesight and this, or between your position and this. So we're just going to bring this down like that, and we'll paint him down, block it in. This is blocking it in. Okay, that's blocked in. Now, like I said, I want to mix up some light and darker colours of this, just to give it some depth and highlights over there in the mountain, so you've got some sort of blurred detail. Just going to wash that same brush. Now, I've just added some yellow oxide and some white, so as we can get a bit of this yellow oxide lightened up, just like that, because I'm looking for those values in the distance mountain here. Squint your eyes, try not to think too much, and add some of those dirt, clay like features that are in this rock. I just blow dried that so as we don't get any mudding up. So this is going to sit on top of that colour there, and I'm just sort of, a lot of this, like I said, I'm going to mix up this colour, lighter and darker, to sit this down, but I'm just sort of giving a general what's in that mountain, just like that. So we've stamped that on. It looks a bit nonsensy, but don't worry, we're going to sink it back now. Alright, there's our mountain colour. Now I've got phthalo blue and the white, so I'm going to get the phthalo blue for the darker colour. I want to grab some of this and make it just a bit of a darker value, not too much. And then we'll do the highlighted values last. I always like to do the lighter colours last over the darks. Now we'll dry this, and now we'll start putting in our darker values of this mountain, and then we'll strengthen them with some highlights. Now we want to sink some of this stuff down as well, but don't kill all of it, just kind of find the shadowy areas where you can sink that down and make darker values and lighter values within your mountain. There we go. Bring some of that down there. Smudge some of this. I'm just thinking artistically. Add some darker values here and there. And then we'll just highlight this. I've just added the lightest bit of black to that phthalo blue, just so I can get some sort of dark shadows coming up here. I want to have some dark against these lights. Okay, I'll pick up this white, and I want to get some of this colour into it to highlight it. Very light. There we go. There's the colour I want. Now I'm going to wipe the brush and then just get this in there. And just where I feel we need some sort of highlight, where do I think we'll sort of come up in here. And it's getting very pale down here. And then we'll do the next bit of the foreground, and then we'll do the water and the reflections. Same here, I'm softening all, I'm like blurring it now, so it's like you're squinting at your eyes and looking at the distance. See what I'm doing here? I'm playing with it. The paint's sort of tacky and sticky, and it's becoming softer as it's sort of faring up the mountain there. I'll just grab some of the green grey, an antique green that I got out of a tube. It's like looks like an olive green, and I'm sort of putting because it's like a real pale green, and I'm just getting the distant green, as you can see what I'm doing there now. So all that blue and the previous work that I've done has created the depth, and this is the actual colour of the mountain, but a long way away because it's green, but we had to put the blues and the reds and that there to make up for the depth and the distance. And where this is coming down into this white, you want it very subtle, okay, just like that. So we look like we've got a distant green mountain with some haze at the bottom. Hope you're having fun. There's no rush. We've got all day to do this, so plot along. This is where you can, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, take the opportunity to subscribe and put the thumbs up. Or if you've got to put thumbs down, do that, whatever tickles your fancy. Now we're going to put our closer mountains in now. So that's all dry. So now we're going to put this one in with our greens. It's even got like a flat field in there. So I don't want to copy it exact, but I want to get something like that in my painting as well, okay? Now we want this one coming about from this point up here and along our sky, and we'll come off the painting, okay? And from here we want to keep that reasonably flat, okay? Don't bring it down. Now I've got my forest green, sap green, I've got some Mars black, and I've got yellow green. So I want to start off mapping our island out there. So I'm going to, and we'll quickly, well, I don't have to be quickly, but I'm going to get that line roughly where I wanted it first, just so we know where we're going. Come off the painting there, pick up some more, and along the bottom there like that. You can move it, but so long as they're straight. Now we're going to map that in, block it in. Oh golly, I've gone and picked up some red. Let's hope we can brush that out, yeah. Now I'm just going to finish it off with a stamping motion, just so it doesn't have all brush strokes, and if anything it's given it a foliage. So if some of these strokes are seen, they're going to look like foliage, not a brush stroke. I've run out of room on my palette there, so I've got another handheld palette here. I'm just mixing up some flowing white and the retarder because we want to get all our watercolour in now. So we want to just map in this, just go a bee's dick under there. Where are, because our water's going to virtually be here. So this is our water. Where are we? Yeah, there. We've got all our colours there. Oh golly, I've gone and picked up some black. Oh well. Now we can muck around and blend the bottom half. Okay, you're a bit closer, you can see. Now we've got the colours for this and this on the palette. So I'm grabbing a round brush, just anything to get the paint on there. And I want to just dampen it a bit. And I want to pick up our mountain colour. Oh, golly, which one was it? This one here. There's our mountain. So let's just roughly put it in. Don't go overboard, don't get too carried away. Just something there like that. Okay, put him in. Now that white, just sort of stamp it there to there. You blend it into that there, sort of. That doesn't matter. Right, you got that there. Okay, some of you going, not the same colour, but we're going to add all that in now. This was just saving time. With oils, you can do all this at the same time. Now we're going to just wipe that brush on a rag and pick up the green colour that we had for over here. I'll dampen the brush just a little bit, just so our transfer is good. And we're going to look for those, just sort of like that. This is how you get reflections, people, a decent reflection. Okay, wipe the brush. You got a bit of the darker colour happening now. You want to some of that in there. Just Where are we? Subtly. Try and find out where they are. You need the darks and the lights in there, okay? Now, grab yourself a nice pull-down brush. I'm going to use this one here. Now, do it softly. You don't want this to be really scratchy and blurry. So we're going to pull our mountain down, keeping our horizon line straight. Let it come all the way down into the water. Pull your brush off it like that. Okay. That's that. Wipe that brush and just lightly come across as well. There, we've got a decent reflection there. Now we'll put this one's reflection in. That's why I put this white retarder there. It's acting like the like an oil paint would for an oil artist. Now I'm picking up the forest green that we did this one with. Now this has got to go over that one's reflection, okay? And sort of come along in a roundabout way. I think it's a bit higher here. Now stamp that on to the edge of this. I've just pulled this down. My battery went flat, so I had to go and charge it up. Now we're going to detail this. We've virtually got everything done. What I'll do at the top now, the bottom's ready to take. So I want to put just some of this there. Okay. And I'm just going to try and, whatever goes at the top is going at the bottom. Say like a blob there, a bit there and a bit there. Okay, you see what I'm doing? Just creating some more. And I want mainly the horizon line of this a bit darker. I'm going to slowly go with some black as well, because without that darkness there, it just doesn't quite cut the mustard in my book. So we're going to lightly pull that down. We don't want to pull it down so we're pulling all the white through, okay? Just bits at a time. See, these little bits, you don't want to pull all the way down there as well, so don't get caught in that. Pull it across. I've just washed the same brush, so I'm picking up the Mars Black. Now, in my eyes, I always like the horizon line to have some depth. So we virtually come all the way along the horizon line. How are we going there, people? Yeah. And get some shadows up into the actual escarpment as well. If you're going too fast, stop and pull this black down just a little bit. Not too much. So we've got dark in our shadow as well. Keep coming along. Pick up more paint if you need be. We've got a lot of shadows here, just virtually up and down like a heart monitor, really. And all this, once it has the highlights in it, it'll start to pop. Now this is a good bit. See some of these here that you've done with the same brush. Wipe the living buggery out of it, okay, and just soften them while everything's still wet. Soften them up, because sometimes you could have them a bit loud. Now that's ready for the other paints now. Now, like I said, I want to put this bit of flat field in. I might not have as many of these trees at the front covering it, just a few, okay? So I want to put that there. I want to get a flathead brush if I've got a lot of control, and I'm picking up the yellow-green. Work out roughly how far back in you want to go. So I want to go back in about here. I've dried this. I don't know if I told you, but I just told you again if I didn't. I could have put white there. Doesn't matter. It's going to have some. If I didn't dry it, all this will be mudding up. So we want to sort of come across here like so. And if you want, you can dry that again as well. And at the back of this, we need some depth as well. See, it's starting to drag all that black into it. So I've got to be careful not to mud it up. I'm going to wipe the brush, and this is where I can grab some of the black on the brush and then just wipe it off and get some depth along the back here, some darker values. Just be sure to get a hint of that in your reflection as well, just to give it a bit more realism. Carefully pull that down. I've just dried that because I want to give it a bit more of a coat. So I'm keeping these pretty much like that. I put a little bit of mid-yellow in with that yellow-green, not too much, but just enough to give it some thickness, because the yellow-green that I had was a flow one. It wasn't structured, so it made it very opaque, kind of see-through-y. I'll put a bit here as well. And we'll finish the rest here now. Because see, that's the dark, that's popping. We're going to use the same brush as we used for here. Oh no, I won't. I'm going to use a smaller detail brush. It's like a little, you've all seen this one that I've used before. Okay, it was a flathead brush, but he's been munted up. So now we're going to sit some of the, we'll just get some of the forest green on there. Just like so. In the water, I could pull it down. Just those bits pulled down that you're adding in there, okay? Now to the middle of my green colour, which is the sap green. So we'll create some just distant foliage. I'm not going to try and copy exact to that because it'll bring me undone. We'll just put something in the distance like that for now. Don't forget to put them down here as well. Lightly pull them down. Oh, you use another dry brush for that. I don't want you to put a big blob like I did just there. Now we're going to put the other. We'll start from this side. Come there. And we want to keep that dark. We're slowly creating distant bushes and shrubs. Come above the top of that if you can. Sometimes, not too much, just enough. Now I'm going to grab my pull down brush as I go, so as nothing will get too dry. Now we're going to go just over some of this, keeping the darks there. Making some bushes in here, some bushes in there. Any mistakes you see in your reflections, you can always dab another reflection over it. Now that colour that I made for the mountain, I've just got that on my brush because we need some of the bank over here now, but leave some of the black between this and there, alright? Because this is just going to be our bank, and I want to do this first so when we add some trees, the shadows of those trees will fall onto this. Now make sure everything's dry. So this is the yellow oxide and the white just mixed up if you want to know exactly what colour this is. And we'll probably have a big thicker bit over here somewhere. I want to get this lighter value in there. more solid, just so your painting has more oomph. I'm just looking at the reference backwards and forwards, and I'm sort of doing what I feel my painting can use from the reference, but not copying exact. So where our lake finishes here, we're grabbing this colour now. Wet your brush, load that colour right up, get it in here. This is the undercolour of your lake at the foreground here. Just get this on. I'm getting it on because what I want to do, I want to merge it. Well, I'm going to dry the brush, not dry the brush, I'm wiping the brush just on a rag here. And see this bit here? I want to scrumble that in and merge it to the other colour there, just so it's a soft transition. Come up through the reflections there, just soften it, muck around with your brush. Tell yourself you're an artist and you can do it, and all things will happen on your canvas. So that's softening it up. That's working all right. I'm happy with that. Now someone's asked me, how do you get the water to look glossy? Do you put gloss on your paint? You don't put gloss on your paint. You leave it. See how we've left that? At the moment it's looking glassy. I'm going to show you later what the hell makes it pop. Now I'm going to add some more darker values of this. Probably could have used a more accurate colour, but I'm not the best at blending colours. I mean, not blending, mixing colours. So we'll get that up there. If something's working for you and you're happy with it, that's all that matters, I say. Blending that into here, just getting some darker values into here, because this is all underwater as well, what I'm doing here. It's all underwater. Now we just want to put some trees here. What I might do is just put a little bit of... Is that too bright there? I want to put it on, wipe the brush, because I just noticed in the other one it's got this sort of light happening there, and I want to merge that into that yellow green, merge it down, just so we got some light values over there, and then the same in the reflection. Try and get the same in your reflections. Some of this under there. Now I'm grabbing my small detailed brush again, and I'm picking up the yellow green, and I want to just carefully distinguish some of this bush. Get up into the sky and down into your foliage. Pick it up, put it down here as well. Now I'll start over here. It's different colours, but for the beginner's sake, don't get too carried away. Just do the same at the bottom. Okay? Just like that. Maybe a little bit here, and put that bit there and pull it down. Something here, something there. Same in the reflections. And it's looking a bit decent. Oh, where else can we go? So I'm just going to keep doing this here and there randomly, just to give it some sort of values of a forest and stuff. We'll just add those trees at the front that I was talking about. So I'm grabbing the forest green, and we maybe put one here. So where we got we'll go right up here. Everything's dry. I'm putting a tree there in front. Okay, put him there. Wash your brush and wipe it dry. Pick up the forest green, no, the sap green now, which is the second colour. And let's just distinguish where he is. Same in the shadow there. Alright, wash that one. This is just one tree. You can do as many as you want across the front. Then we pick up the yellow green and we'll put him then. Just added some smaller ones here, so we'll get just a little bit of sap in there. I've just darkened behind there because that clashed with the back one, so I'm going to put that back. I'll get a bit of the black just to give these some depth underneath the bottom of them as well. All the shrubs need depth under the bottom of them. And then we'll pick up the yellow green just to highlight that subtly, subtly, subtly. So we've got our yellow green there. And if this is too like going to clash with that lawn that we've put there, I'm going to put a bit of yellow with it. And we'll just give that some value. Just so they look like. You can muck around and put trunks in there if you like. I'm just going to put a bit of sap back in there. There we go. Oh, you know what I didn't do, which is important. We got to get that at least in the water reflection as well. Okay, let's put some kind of a front foreground on here, just in front of this part of our stuff there. So what have I got? I'll dampen my brush and I'm just going to pick up the rest of that black, the carbon black, Mars black, carbon black, I can't remember what it is, but so we'll just paint all this in here. Black, carbon black. Now, I want to add the detail to the reflection here before I put this over the top. Now, see this white we've got added into our water? That's the top of here and there, the white sky. I've just got a flathead brush and some titanium white. Now, I don't want to paint that white. I want to get it off the brush and work out where the tops of me mountains are, where everything's meeting, and get that aspect. Okay, now all I want to do is sit all this down so it's not floating. So we're just going to pick up our knife and pick up a roll of paint. Try and get these as thin as possible. I'm going to start off the painting first, leaving some of the black there. Oh, that's a bit thick. Look at that. Yep. All right. Actually, I think I can scoot them down a bit. I want to get a bit out there. Something along there. How's that looking? It's kind of sitting everything down, okay? This is what gives you the glassy water. You've just done the reflections down there, and this in the water Now we'll put just a few, not too many, and we don't want them too thick either. I want to try and keep them straight. I want probably a cluster of them over here. You can sink some of your reflections down with them. Just lightly, all randomly over it, just lightly, but keep them, some of mine are bloody crooked, keeping them straight. I've got some thick bits there. I'll just get my flathead brush, I've dampened it, and I'm going to try and pull them out like that. Keep a cloth or a rag, flathead brush, pull them. Hopefully they're still wet enough to pull. That's it. And to that person, see, this has got damp white on the brush. This can add a film to the surface of your water, just like that, very subtly. But keeping it, see what it's doing? It's adding a surface to the water. Now see these, how they look stampy? Get rid of those, if you can, subtly. I mean, it's not realism, but it gives us a sense of quality to your work. And we can film the top of this as well. Now, the simplest thing to bring it home, we're just going to put a bit of brown here and these shrubs in front of the grass. So I've got my greens and the black there, and we're just going to pick up any brush. I'm going to use this one. I've just found this one in my arsenal down there. So I'm going to just pick up the black, okay, and we'll make those grassy bits. So we'll put them, come off the picture and into there like that, bringing our eye in. And then the same here, we'll put something creeping out there, solid the bottom up, but let it flare out into the water there. And we just want to virtually, hang on, before we do that, I'm just going to grab another brush, and that yellow oxide and the white, where can we have the middle? We'll probably have something coming in here, just a bit of a there we go. That'll be our path coming from the water in. So we're picking up the black and we're going to come over that, feed it into that path there to sink the path back down. Same here, put something over there, sink the path back down and create your foreground, okay? And then we'll just have this as lawn. I don't want no straight line left there. It's going to be lawn. Could probably put a little bit of detail there before we close it in, is just like some water, you know, like we do on the beach, just some water sitting there trying to come in to this little gully here. Wipe your brush and we'll just walk the top of that line back into here, just so it's like water surface. There we go. And the same with this one. We'll probably put a bit more deliberate here. Wipe your brush. And it's just like the water's trying to trickle in through the opening of the marsh there. We call it a marsh here, but we don't have them. There we go. Now, using the same brush, we'll just highlight these and put our lawn in. So our sun isn't here. We can virtually say our sun's anywhere in this painting. So we're going to pick up the forest green on that brush, and see, I'm grabbing it on the top edge there like that. And I want to just create these shrubs within each other, just like that. Some there. Just try and put them in front and behind to segregate different shrubs. Now dry the paint and wash your brush. Now we've picked up this sap green. This paint's dry. We'll put a little bit of sap green to distinguish different shrubbery here. How's that looking? Good. Same over here. Want him over there. Something in the front of that. That's looking good. I'll just look in my monitor to see how it's looking. They're all different shrubs. It's not the same as the reference picture, but it's giving you reference of what you can paint. Okay, now we've done that, let's wash this brush and dry that paint. Now everything's dry. I've picked up another brush just to scratch in our lawn over here, and we don't want to kill all the blacks, and we want to leave some shadow under here to distinguish those from the flat ground, okay? So down here we're picking up our yellow green for the lawn and work out keeping some shadows there and scratch this in. Get it roughly where you want. How's that looking? That's looking good. I'm happy with that. So now I'll just load my brush up, take the blobs off and keep some of the darks in there. Same over here now. Let's distinguish a bit in there just so it looks like we've got plant. And if you've killed too much shadow, that's the good thing about it, is you can add them back. Okay, now we'll do some of this. Just get it coming down. I'm going to come down, let's bugger it. Now I'm going to pick up some mid-yellow, just on that yellow-green. So we'll... because the yellow-green was pretty much the base colour. Yeah, that's looking alright. I want them stroked even. Just something easy. Okay, I've just cleaned that same brush, picking up the yellow-green, and now we want to highlight these shrubs, okay? Bringing them down to the ground where they belong. This is what distinguishes the actual shape of your shrub. This highlight colour we're putting on now. Okay. And I always like to bring a bit to the ground just to make it look a sense of belonging to the ground. It's anchored to the ground. It's pretty easy. The top, anchor him to the ground. Get this done. Don't put white in this or yellow, it's too much. I used to do it before and I found over time looking at it, oh yeah, that's just too much. Every painting is a learning curve for yourself. Okay, we're just about done. This here to me is a bit bright, so I'm going to kill it down with some of the sap green. I'm picking up that scratchy brush that I use and I'm just going to lighten it a bit. It's a bit dark. How's that looking? I'm not worried if it bleeds in too much. I just want to kill some of that. Yellow oxide, just to put some sandy issues back in it as well. Dirt issues. Scratch them through. Get the top of the brush with some of it on there. There. And then we'll finish it off with some darks. My mistake, but we all make mistakes. See, there we go. We've softened that brightness down a bit. And I'm just going to grab some black, put it on the brush, and work out some areas like that. And quickly wipe the brush and soften them in, and then I'm finished. We'll soften them back down just to kill. I had too much brightness at the front here. Sign the painting down here. You paint nice and wet when you do your autograph, so it'll flow off the brush. And we'll put a frame on that. There we go, that's not too shabby. We've got a distant mountain, a subtle sky with some pollution in the background. We've got some distance between us and this far mountain. We've got our reflective water and a simple foreground, okay? Hope you like this exercise. Today I'll think of a name for this before I post it up. Be sure to share, give the thumbs up and subscribe. If you like what I've done, tell your friends, but if you don't, you tell everybody, all right? All the best, goodbye, good luck, and good on ya.